Hello and welcome to Show of Hands Hangout number something. I didn't get there. Um, I we have a completely new person, so we're going to start off and say, why don't you introduce yourself, say who you are on the app, what you would like us to call you here, and what you were doing 15 minutes ago.
Alrighty then. So Chris is fine. On the app, it's SFCREN. Let's see. 15 minutes ago, I was eating a taco. Taco Tuesday, and helping one of my children with homework.
You would.
And you're in San Francisco, or is it just a?
San Diego.
Oh, okay. But you're far enough away to earlier. You're living in the past.
Yes. Yeah, just past 7.
So I assume you're a Chargers fan?
No, I grew up in the central part of the state, closer to San Francisco. So, and of course in the '80s. So, all about the Niners.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. And I think you're military, is that right?
That's correct. Yes, I'm in the Air Force.
Air Force. What do you do?
Currently, I'm a recruiter. I was a military police for 13 years.
Cool. Cool. Well, I am Ron Ronderman on the app. And 15 minutes ago, I was waiting on Firefly to invite us here. But in the meantime, I was playing Candy Crush because everybody at my house is asleep. And I don't help my kids with homework. They're smarter than I am. So they would help me with their homework, pretty much. And speaking of children,
That is my oldest. He is tireless, absolutely tireless. It is 10:15 here, and he has school in the morning. But I figure while he keeps trying to sneak downstairs, he can sneak all the way downstairs and do the laundry. That's what he just ran off to do. So there's a price to pay for staying up too late.
well, in his defense, you have school tomorrow as well.
I
So,
do, and I have to get up earlier than he does. I've got an hour commute, and I try and be there by 7:15.
ooh,
So it's an early morning for me. But the bright side is I get home. I get home in time to pick the kids up from school.
ah,
So it works out late. Um, I'm Firefly 5 on the app. I'm Guyton in real life, and 15 minutes ago I was discovering that Hangouts on Air has been replaced by YouTube Live, which is a different system. It's not awful, but it was a couple hoops to jump through. And I had just finished helping out a friend who had come over for a little while.
does that mean we have to change the name of our little show here?
I think we're going to be okay, but I'll have to look up the number and stuff again anyway too. So if there's a time for a name change, right now when we have just changed the date or the day of the week
Uh-huh.
and changed the system, and I have to look up a number, this would be the time for it.
Now's the time. I think we should just call it Chris's show.
That's dangerous.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Maybe you could put up some kind of a competition to name the
I
new
know
one.
a good show.
Oh,
Just
there we go.
forever. Forever and ever and ever.
Hold on. All right, Ron, I'll have you start with the first question if you don't mind. I'm going to put my microphone on mute and encourage someone to make a good decision.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, tonight was somewhat different because both Guyton and I put up our own little poll announcing that we would be on tonight, and I think each of us had been waiting all day for the other to do it, and then we suddenly did it all at the same time. So that's how we ended up with 2 polls announcing tonight. So we'll go through on mine. Do you believe in any conspiracies of any kind put forth by Domino 3? What do you think, Chris?
So yeah, I was looking at that one. I worked several years on night shifts, so I had plenty of time to listen to Coast AM. And
a weird show. They believe in some strange stuff on that show.
It is quite entertaining. I'd say any conspiracies of any kind. Sure, yeah, there are conspiracies out there. All you have to do is look at stuff like Iran-Contra, the gunpowder revolt. There's conspiracies all throughout history, but as far as
specific,
reptilians running the government and stuff like that, not so much.
Well, I could ask you about Area 51. The Air Force.
True.
Of course, if you were to tell us, you'd have to track each of us down and probably kill us all. So,
it may happen. Never know. Yeah, actually, that era is really interesting if you do look into it, because we were engaged in a massive counter-information war with the Soviet Union. So there's a lot there. How much is true, who knows? But there's certainly a lot there to pick through if you really want to.
So my question on Area 51 is if obviously something, no one really believes it was a weather balloon. Something happened, be it a spy satellite or whatever. How long until they actually tell us? Would they tell us in 200 years, or is it just all going to be secret forever? What do you think?
Maybe people have gone to the moon.
Gone back to you?
If I had to guess, I would bet on secrecy. I know I've guarded places where they told me, we can't tell you what's in here, just guard it with your life, and good luck. So I don't think the higher-ups, especially in the Pentagon, have any problem keeping any secrets, especially if they feel like you don't need to know.
Mm-hmm. Well, my wife has an uncle that used to be top brass, and probably I know he had secret clearance. So I keep wondering if one day maybe he'll go senile or something, and I'll just start asking him all kinds of questions, see what all I can get out of him. But so far he's pretty tight-lipped about that type of stuff.
Yeah, well, I had a top secret for a few years, but didn't get anything out of it, so super boring.
Yeah, that's kind of a waste. Let's see, conspiracy theories. I guess we could talk about the Hillary conspiracy theory from this week. I was reading today that there is a large group on the internet that believe there was a body double involved in her first her collapse, and
Nice.
then her strolling down the road an hour later. So I think the theory is that the real Hillary collapsed, and they took her to Chelsea's house, and then they got a body double to stroll down the street by herself, dancing, stuff like that. And had it been
collapsed,
do what?
Maybe it was the double that collapsed.
Maybe it was the double that got drunk and collapsed. Who knows?
Wouldn't that be awful? You
Yeah,
get a body double and they fail.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, I'd hate to be in the room when Hillary got a hold of that one. But the theory is, Secret Service would not have allowed Hillary to walk down the street, even in the best of times, all by herself like that. So anyway, I'm not necessarily buying it. It's just out there.
So I have worked with the Secret Service a few times. what you might have seen, they could have cleared that entire street, um, and not had a problem with her walking down there. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Um, but they don't necessarily always have to have someone right around the person. It's they allow for a bubble, and while they can suggest, ultimately the person decides what they're going to do. So if it's, hey, I'm going golfing today, and shut up and just protect me, you know, they can say, hey, that's not a good idea because of X, Y, Z, and ultimately the person is just going to do what they want anyway. So,
I can understand that. I will defer to your expertise, my friend.
and the people who have worked when they were in the White House, I've known some folks that flew on Air Force One. Their impression of her, at least, was that she doesn't really care too much about the security and what they think. So,
Yeah, that's been what I've heard as well. Um, I have family that's Secret Service, and that's pretty much what I have been told as well. So, how about you, Sir Firefly? Do you have any conspiracy theories that you buy into?
Nothing in particular. Nothing in particular. I I think people are really, really bad at keeping secrets. Um, and the bigger, no, you're great at it, but people in general. And the bigger the conspiracy theory, the bigger the number of people involved. And I think they become too big of secrets to where someone or other, especially in the age of the internet, someone or other would let something leak. And maybe that's where the conspiracies come from, are these little mini leaks. But I I wouldn't think anything really particularly huge would be able to be kept secret for too very long. Um, so I don't know. I have a hard time buying into too many conspiracy theories. Um, I think things that are more than 20 or 30 years old, uh, there could be a little bit more room for, or things that are. So maybe here's a conspiracy theory. Um, maybe the common conspiracy theories you hear are things that are thrown out there to keep people talking about things that ultimately don't really matter, so that other more important things or more whatever things can be kept secret more easily.
No, it's all just a smoke screen.
Yeah. If we're looking really hard into one thing, then it's misdirection. So that would be my best version of a conspiracy theory. I think that's where that goes for me.
All right. Um, Coffee Now asks, it's a long question, so bear with me. And I don't really understand it, so maybe one of you guys are cooler than I am. Are we doing enough as a nation to control the threat of dank memes like Pepe the Frog? While I'm glad Clinton is finally addressing this, are you concerned that Obama has been silent on the issue of Pepe? Should posting a Pepe meme be added to the list of microaggressions? So before I came across this question, I had no idea who Pepe the meme was, or Pepe the Frog. Are either of you familiar with this internet sensation?
Not that one in particular. The idea of dank memes, sure, but
Well, evidently this is Pepe.
oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. So I figured if anybody would know, it'd be you, Firefly, because you have your finger on the pulse of the youths of America. Evidently, it's something that's on Tinder or something. Yeah, I got nothing. So
I've been out of the dating scene for a good long while.
yeah,
Julie and I were actually just talking about it last night about
starting to date again.
about like how terrible it would be to have to jump back in right now. Like I, uh, I feel like I wouldn't know how to get started. I'd probably be just no, no. I think it'd be hard to get started. I also think of it in the context of I've got 3 kids, so when in the world would I? But
Yeah,
you know, so I
Yeah,
don't know much about Tinder.
how about you, Chris? Are you married?
I am. I've been married for 13 years, um, 4 kids. Uh, I can keep up with a few memes just because I tend to work around a lot of younger folks, but had no clue who the heck Pepe was, and had to Google that sucker and find out about it on, on Wikipedia there. Coffee Dow likes to post a lot of kind of tongue-in-cheek stuff. Um, I think it was more along the lines of, you know, do we really need to make a big deal about microaggressions, and do we have to have people weigh in on every single thing?
What she mentioned that Clinton was addressing it. Has Clinton actually addressed it? Any does anybody know about that? So
Yeah, I saw something, but I don't particularly remember exactly what she said. I believe there was some going around about the Pepe with Nazi symbols or, you know, white power stuff, and so it was more along the lines of, yep, there's some more evidence of angry white people. Yes.
evidently from Hammer and Sickle, he says that some liberal talk show host incorrectly labeled Pepe a symbol of white supremacy, and people are making a big deal about it. There you go. I'm not on Tinder, and I'm not a white supremacist, so that's evidently why I'm not up on Pepe. But as always, thank you, Hammer and Sickle. So, and then my last question on my poll was communism or capitalism. Um, I'm obviously going to go with capitalism. It's not a big secret that I lean more to the right, as my Crossfire co-host over there leans more to the left. But what would you say, capitalism or communism, Guyton? What do you think?
Yes, yes and no. Uh, no, I see merits in both. I don't think I would do particularly well with either one completely. I don't think uh, I don't think um, communism would work because people and I mean, you know, there are more eloquent answers, but that's that. I don't think it would work because of people. I think it works maybe in small enough groups, but there are too many people for small groups to really do anything. Uh, and then I don't think straight capitalism works very well either because it's too much of a zero-sum game. I don't think we have to do. I don't think we have to have progress at the expense of someone else or at the expense of something else. I think you know, the idea of competition to drive down prices works really well on paper, but it also extrapolates to um, as you keep cutting and cutting and cutting your costs, someone or other is being shortchanged, And yes, it's someone who is willing to do it to a point, as long as there's a reasonable amount of regulation. But with zero regulation, I think capitalism turns into a slave-driven economy. Because what's cheaper than that labor, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, so I will say yes and no is my answer to that.
That's the way to be committed. I'm very, very impressed there. How about you, Chris? Do you feel strongly one way or another on that?
Um, well, in general, on most things, I tend to see a lot of gray area. I would agree that I don't think all one or all the other is the best answer.
Mm-hmm.
I have read the Communist Manifesto, and yeah, I found a lot of it interesting. I think that he definitely brings up some very valid points about how people feel, and when lower classes are feeling. That's my dogs in the background. Um, well, when lower classes are feeling oppressed and are feeling like they're being taken advantage of, that's a problem. Um, and I think there are multiple different ways of handling that besides, just communism. Uh, and I think that we can all point to very good circumstances where we can say, see, right there, look at that business. They take care of their people. They're making a profit. Everyone is flourishing. But I think we can also point to other times in which people have been sorely taken advantage of, and it's ended badly. If I had to, if you just pinned me down and said you can't leave this chair without choosing one or the other, I would probably choose capitalism, because I'm a big believer in choice and opportunity. And you're just not going to really get that with communism. So if I had to be nailed down, I'd say capitalism.
And there you go. Switching over to Firefly's poll, Hammer and Sickle asked what may be the hardest hitting question of all tonight. And we kind of really hit a lot of more politics than we normally do. But do you prefer Calvin and Hobbes or the Peanuts comic strip?
I can answer this one very, very easily. Like he said, there's a definitive right answer, and there's no way that any and I'll say this before even hearing your answers. With my apologies if you've got the wrong opinion, but I think there's no way that any reasonable person would ever pick Peanuts over Calvin and Hobbes.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. There is a right answer, and that is the correct answer. Yes. But Hammer and Sickle's a young guy. I'm trying to. Because I don't think Calvin. Well, I guess they've both been retired, but Peanuts is still out there every week. Is Calvin and Hobbes still out there every week?
No.
Yeah, no clue.
It's been so long since I've actually picked up a newspaper. I have no idea. So.
Oh, we bought the big Calvin and Hobbes books.
Oh yeah.
And they're hey, Hammer and Sickle agrees. Yeah, we bought those, and they're great. I think every house should have a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the only thing you do is keep them for bathroom reading or whatever. But I think every house should have a couple.
Yes, they are great bathroom reading.
Yeah, it's definitely a clean sweep. Huge Calvin and Hobbes fan. Call my son Spaceman Spiff every now and then. So it's definitely on the Calvin and Hobbes side.
I'd be curious to know if anyone's watching that would choose otherwise, you should comment. If you would choose one way or the other, you should comment on that.
Well, that actually may be one of the elusive 100% polls.
It might be. It might be. Hammer and Sickle, you should put that up as a regular poll, and I'll share it. And we'll see if you get 100% on that one. Be fun. So what's next?
Let's see. We'll stick with Hammer and Sickle. Should we free Ed Snowden? I've not seen the movie yet, so I don't know. You know, the movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt coming out, I guess, next couple of weeks. But I don't know. He's number one. Did we officially arrest him? Did he get busted, or is he still free?
I think free is a loosely used term here, but I was under.
Is he still in Russia?
Last time. I mean, as soon as you asked that question, I thought, did he get caught? Did he?
Well, I read a news article several weeks ago, and for all I know, it was from The Onion, but it said that he got caught playing Pokemon. You know, so I don't know how much credence to put into that, but it never hit the mainstream news, so I'm assuming that was fake. But should we be going after him? I guess if you don't go after him, then any Tom, Dick, or Harry can just sell off secrets to America and not face any consequences. But is he a hero to many? Yeah, he's a hero to many. So I don't know. You probably have a different take on it, Chris, since you've had that type of clearance before. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a difficult call. I've served with some people. One who I knew that decided to be a conscientious objector and was discharged from the military. I don't know how much I buy his, I felt this was so horrible that I had to do something. But if he genuinely felt that way, I mean, I guess you do something like what he did. As far as just technically, yeah, he committed a crime. That's absolutely technically true. But as we know, people have been pardoned, people have been forgotten about and excused from their crimes in the past. It's all about who you know and what they're willing to do for you.
Hammer and Sickle has adjusted his question to say, should he be pardoned?
Should we be what?
Should he be pardoned?
Oh, pardon. Gotcha. If I was president, would I pardon him? Probably not. I kind of believe that there's got to be some kind of accountability. If I'm going to give you this responsibility, you got to pay some kind of price for violating that trust. I don't think that he should be taken out behind the woodshed and shot. And I don't know what that punishment should be, but I wouldn't pardon him. I don't really consider him a hero. I do think what he did was important. But I don't know. I guess I'm kind of all over the place on this one. If I have to say pardon, I'd say no.
Yeah, I don't think he should be pardoned either. I think not really pursued, but not welcome back. You know,
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's living in exile. The problem that I have is that I think he's got a lot more information out there that he still can make public. So, do we somehow make an under the table deal with him that as long as you keep your mouth shut from this point out, we won't send the CIA after you, but you gotta shut up from this point out, and you can live your days out in Moscow and let the Kremlin do what they want to with you. But I don't know that I would spend the resources to go after him necessarily at this point. So no pardon, but no pursual either. I guess that's where I would sit.
I think you did the right thing. It might not have been the right way to do it, but part of the reason for that may very well be that there was no right way to do it. And a lot of times we don't get to choose between a good and a bad decision. We get to choose between two decisions where neither one looks good. Kind of an apropos time to say that with November coming up. But
Yeah.
it's just another example. I think in his position I would do it too, and whether that means I think he should be pardoned or not, I don't know. But it means I think he was right to do it. I I suppose with a pardon, especially from a president leaving office, you wouldn't necessarily be setting a precedent, because what one president does, right? If pardoning is a case by case type evaluation, and president by president type evaluation, then what one president does doesn't necessarily have to stay consistent with the next or with the next individual, right? That's something that's completely, I don't want to say whimsical. It doesn't feel like the right word, but whimsical. So if I were in the position of leaving office right now, I'd give it a serious thought. I can commit to giving it a serious thought.
Yeah, I think along the lines of, if I remember correctly, it was Scooter Libby, right? That was pardoned when they outed the CIA agent, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's really kind of tough for me to say outright no, because if you're going to look at the one side, it was like, well, he's a close guy and he just kind of screwed up here and whatever, pardon. Look the other way, shut up. That potentially could have caused to me more damage than what Snowden did. I think they talk about like means and ways, and he damaged it and we won't be able to spy on anyone and all this kind of stuff. It's like, come on, guys, seriously. Really? If he really caused all of these damages and all of these agents to be compromised, they would have trotted that out a long time ago and said, yeah, he caused 20 agents to lose their cover and we had to completely close down operations in this country and that country, and this directly led to this attack or that attack. And the fact that they just haven't done it, to me, says that it was a lot of blowhard. and they were just pissed that he did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of posturing with it, and there was always going to be, but it's a very easy talking point because it's emotionally charged for a lot of people, and it works. It's it's definitely interesting to think about too.
Well, like I said, I'm going to have to reserve judgment until the film comes out because
I can say I can say real quick that I think a good number of people, I'm not going to say the majority or anything like that, but I think a good fraction of the people who um, are very against what he did uh, have him and Julian Assange kind of melded into one person,
Mm-hmm.
and um, that those two happened close enough to each other, I think really hurts his cases too. That um, because I don't think it's very easy to feel much sympathy for Julian Assange. Even if you ignore any of his public things, just um, his whole criminal background really doesn't help him.
Right. All right. Hammer and Sickle's other question was, what's your opinion in sriracha sauce? SR.
Sriracha sauce.
What?
Sriracha sauce?
Yeah, sure. I'll go with that. I
Yes,
obviously have no opinion of that particular type of sauce.
that is fantastic.
Can you give me a brief description of what said sauce is like?
It's a semi-spicy, like pepper type sauce. It's like it's a semi-spicy, like almost hot sauce. It's an Asian pepper something or other.
And so you would eat it with Asian food?
What's that?
What type of food do you eat it with? I mean, what?
So my favorite thing to eat it with. My favorite thing to eat it with. If you take, um, and it might sound awful. I don't know. If you take ketchup and mayo and mix it, you know how you get that like kind of orangey
Uh-huh.
pink whatever, and you put some sriracha in that, you get like this spicy, tangy thing, and it's great for burgers, fries, whatever. But other than that, I'll put it on like more noodle dishes like pad thai or whatever, and it's nice for that.
Okay, I have before me my grocery list for tomorrow.
Good, we haven't had one of these for a while.
And it is now on there. So we'll make sure we have some mayo and some ketchup for next time. And if I can find it, I assume it's at the local Walmart. If not, Whole Foods or something like that, which is where I had to go get the Vegemite. Chris, just so that you know, I was the hello, Miss Julie. I was the brunt of a cruel joke of Vegemite. So I had some of that on air. So we'll try this sriracha sauce, and we'll try to learn how to pronounce it.
You've never
Right.
had sriracha?
No, never. Don't know anything about that.
You have that on
Yeah, let me.
So the Vegemite, I have to say, was not meant to be any kind of a cruel joke. I think it's delicious. I think a cruel joke would be if I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be funny.
Yeah, or just take a spoonful of it. Right.
Well, I did tell you how to go about.
That's
I didn't say here, just take it by the spoonful.
you did try it.
So I do have a few fires burning here that I'm going to have to try and put out.
Oh no.
All right. Well, Chris, it was nice having you on, and we shall bid you adieu. We'll do our best to answer a few of the remaining questions in your stead. So thanks for being on, and let us know if you ever want to do it again.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good time.
Cool.
All right, man. And thank you for your service. We'll see you later.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
All right. So you wanna answer a few more
Yeah. Yeah, I would do a few more. Maybe
while we're here? Well, Jenna worked hard and threw some on there. Well, let's hit facepalm real quick because she'll be she.
You want to come do a lightning round?
No, I'm eating.
Sure.
What would be how ripe is the perfect eating banana?
When it just switches from green to yellow.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. Peaches, nectarines, or plums?
So I saw the arrow underneath it that said favorite stone fruit, and I would have to go with avocados before any of those three. But if I was going to go with one of those three, it would be peaches.
Yeah, I'm a big peach fan. Now, you being one of the foreigner people, have you ever had a good peach cobbler?
Yes, yes, Julie makes a good peach cobbler.
As she should.
We have a lot of like you pick places around here.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll take the kids out one day. Um, like I'll be at work, she'll take the kids and they'll go pick peaches in the morning. And then when I get home, there's 3 different kinds of peach desserts. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. That's
a good one.
Let's go with Jenna. Ocean or lake?
Ocean.
What?
I don't think lake counts as like Lake Michigan. That
You live on Lake Michigan. How can you not think Lake Michigan when somebody says lake or ocean?
because I'm assuming that she means lake, like not one of these gigantic lakes, but some random generic lake. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with ocean with the caveat that Lake Michigan is better. How about that?
That Lake Michigan is quite nice.
Yeah. Okay. Because Julie, just for the record, I've never been to one of the Great Lakes, so I can't say I'd be one of the other 99%. I'm a 99%er. Okay.
Yeah.
So
if you choose one of the Great Lakes to swim in, Superior is not the one you want.
And why is that?
It's cold.
Too cold?
It's cold year round. It's nice. It's very, very clear, and it's a beautiful, beautiful lake, and it's whatever, but it's cold. It was made by a glacier, and it still feels like it in August.
Oof. I assume people like ski and stuff in Lake Michigan.
On Lake Michigan?
Yeah.
Um,
Like water ski?
oh, yeah, yeah. But only, well, I say only, that's not quite true. Most people only do it in the near the shore and where there's some shelter. It gets pretty choppy.
So I guess with the tides, it's going to be a lot. So it's basically fresh water, but it just feels like ocean with the tides.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty huge. And yeah.
All right. Maybe I need to go visit.
Feels like a small freshwater ocean.
Okay. Favorite TV show? We haven't done that one in a while.
Currently running?
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Yeah, I could have guessed that for you. I don't know. I watch so many of them all the time. Currently I'm watching Marco Polo from Netflix, so we'll go with that. but that's, that could change tomorrow. So for a while it was Mad Men. Obviously Friends is a top 5. West Wing was great.
West Wing was great, but it's done.
Yeah, it's done. So
I think currently running probably Doctor Who, Sherlock.
yeah.
I don't know if it counts as currently running because they take like 2-year breaks, but
Mm.
I think it counts as currently running, so that one gets added to the list also. I mean, we watched like Last Week Tonight, which is really good, but I don't know if it works as a show exactly,
Yeah. Favorite romance flick
Favorite romance what?
movie?
Fight Club.
We don't talk about that.
Right. Does Crouching Tiger count?
I don't think so.
No.
I've never seen Crouching Tiger. So,
I mean, a wide scale, it's a love story.
well, so is Star Wars at some point, but don't know that I'd call it a romance.
The Princess Bride.
Okay, I'll go with that. I can see that. I traditionally stay away from the romance movies.
You just heard what I came up with.
Yeah, I one that I enjoy watching is old, but it's You Got Mail with Hanks and Meg Ryan. For some reason, I've always liked that.
I liked Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That was an interesting take on it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one either. See, I just stay away from the romance.
Oh, it's Jim Carrey playing a non-comedic role.
Which normally is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at Robin Williams, most of his best movies were dramatic. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd fit Carrey in that as well, except for the Ace Ventura, which was obviously his best work. Favorite Western movie? Have you seen any Western movies?
I couldn't name 3. Um, it's not my thing. It's just not my game.
Yeah, you need to go get a box set of John Wayne movies and just spend the day.
Favorite Western movie?
Nada, nothing.
I've got nothing. Yeah, Tombstone. We're talking about one of maybe 3 I've ever seen. So
Tombstone was good. Well, then your homework is to watch the new Western coming out, The Magnificent Seven.
Okay.
Denzel, Chris Pratt, a bunch of other big names. So that'll be your token your token Western.
All right.
Some other good ones: Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood. That was phenomenal. 3:10 to Uma with Russell Crowe. That was really good.
Okay.
Those are some of your more recent, and any John Wayne Western works for your traditional, or any of the older Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns. That works too. But I'll settle for The Magnificent Seven when it comes out.
Okay. I've got my list.
There you go. Excellent. American Idol or The Voice. Do you watch either of those?
Nope.
Nope. I can say I've traditionally been American Idol. I've never watched a full episode of The Voice, but being as American Idol's going off the air, and I got a good friend that auditioned for The Voice this year, I'm gonna have to go with The Voice currently. So I don't know how far he made it, or even if he did make it, but I'm sure I'll tell you next time, as I think his show comes on sometime next week.
Cool. I've never seen either one.
Well, Idol was hit or miss depending on the judges, but I think they ended up with the best judge panel. But I'm gonna have to figure out what The Voice is all about. So I've never really done that. So but we are slowly running out of questions. Let's see if we can get one or two more. Do you enjoy thunderstorms?
Yes.
Me too. What's the happiest moment you had with your significant other after marriage? So the happiest moment you had with your significant other, and we'll say other than kids too, because that's,
Cheating.
that's cheating.
I don't think I can pick one. I've got a good life.
Yeah. It's easier to think of the bad moments, to be honest with you. And, relationships go in seasons as well. So, of course, I've been with Jennifer for 20 married years plus 4 dating years. So I've probably forgotten more moments than I remember. But
We have 8 married years, 1 engaged year, and 3 dating months.
wow, that was quick.
It was quick.
Didn't want to let her get away, or did you just need the green card? Which,
No, I had a green card long before.
oh, already had the green card. Okay, just
All good things.
I don't know. Our engagement was a great moment. So we'll throw that in there. So, but that is probably going to be it for the evening. We both have our homework for next week. I've got to get some kind of sauce, and I don't know that you can watch all 3 movies within the next week, but I think Unforgiven's on Netflix. I'm not sure about that.
Yes.
But,
well, I wrote it down anyway.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, since we've already lost Chris, and it's been close to an hour,
yeah,
why don't we call it?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. Well, good night to everyone, and we shall see you guys soon.